Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Now this is scary.
True?
Have you ever questioned, like, what is the Starbucks logo?
It's like a siren.
Yes, exactly, it's a siren, so a lot of people can see it as like a mermaid. What you can see is a lady with a crown and kind of like a tail, right? Now do you ever wonder what a siren actually is? Like, why did they even use that as their logo? A siren in ancient Greek mythology was actually used, right? The sirens would infatuate sailors and get their attention to come towards them so that they can steal their souls. So, in the sense, look, this is like crazy marketing on a spiritual sense. They use the image of a siren to attract customers, then they go and get their coffee. Now this is where it's even crazier. Sirens in Greek mythology were known to attract people through their singing, right? Now I have a question for you. Have you ever heard of Starbucks jingles?
Actually, I don't think so.
Never. Is Starbucks the only fast food franchise that you have never heard a jingle for? Think about it. There's no Starbucks jingle. So the theory goes that because they're using the symbol of the siren, they don't even need one.
Wow.
While those are very interesting points, my brain is like, why do we have to do that? Why does everything have to be dissected and have some underlying evil tone? Why can't it just be? Panic buying is no joke. It can get really crazy. Just like before COVID and everyone was buying up all the toilet paper and the pasta and the rice and everything, and the same thing is happening in Japan. But they're worried about that earthquake because they've been having so many lately.
I finally found one of these 5G towers, but this one's cute. It's a little cactus one. Little cactus 5G antenna tower. Little boy, just trying to blend in. Just trying to blend. I get it. I see you. Just trying to blend in, little buddy. It's okay.
I live in Southern California, so we have like the palm trees, right? And then if you go closer to the mountains, it's the pine trees that are all disguising the towers. They're doing a terrible job of it. And I had never seen him doing that to a cactus.
According to McKinnon, he unearthed a secret U.S. military program that existed entirely in space.
I found the spreadsheet was actually titled in the column non-terrestrial officers. As well as officers' names, it had ship names. None of these were ocean-going ships. It was astounding. They're not Navy, they're not the Army, and not even Air Force. So to me, I was thinking there must be an off-planet Space Force, or Space Fleet, at least.
After McKinnon's arrest, he was told the U.S. government intended to sentence him to 70 years in prison.
At the time, I thought 6 months community service was all you'd do for a Computer Misuse Act in Britain. We fought extradition for 10 years, and we actually won the case. But unfortunately today, the arrest warrant is still live. And I'm still on the Interpol red list, so I can't travel.
All right, so here's where my thinking's going with this. He went to jail for hacking. I don't think he found that document, because if he actually did find a document like that was listing this particular information and they really wanted to keep it hidden, I'm pretty sure they would have taken more permanent measures in that situation, right? Now, I'm not saying that these ships don't actually exist because I'm crazy like that and I would believe that kind of stuff.
David Grush, the Air Force whistleblower, says it's a logical fallacy to say that because they're advanced, they're kind, referring to extraterrestrials. We'll never really understand their full intent, and that's because we're not them. But I think what appears to be malevolent activity has happened. That's based on nuclear site probing activities and witness testimony. Grush saying, not always friendly. Also, instances of taking down craft by our military. He was briefed by individuals on the program that there were malevolent entities harming humans and murdering humans.
So no, aliens aren't always sunshine and lollipops. Sometimes they're science experiments and unaliving. I'd want to give credit to Randy real quick. We know him as Big Bang here in our little family. He brought that information to my attention just recently, and I wanted to share it with everybody.
Global warming is bullshit.
Yep, no, looks like I'm going to be doing Year 7 Geography with you all today. This is the ocean. This is the ice that's safely stored on land. And for this story, I'm going to be climate change. Now we're going to see what happens when climate change takes the water from the land and puts it in the ocean. Oh, it's already starting to leak, isn't it? Oh, is that overflowing? Would that be the right word? Yeah. Oh, there's water getting everywhere. No. Damn it. Right? And this is me taking the piss a little bit, right? But see all this shit? This is people's houses. This is where people live.
Well, there you go. There's that.
Today I want to talk about how this fake climate emergency is causing real energy problems, energy shortages. Because we've been told that the climate situation is so terrible that we have to move immediately away from fossil fuels. And so we're starting to limit the investment. Banks are told not to finance any of the projects. Companies' stocks are being sold because they're not supporting this anti-oil movement and anti-fossil fuel movement. So this fake climate crisis is causing real energy problems. And here's some headlines. Crippling energy bills force Europe's factories to go dark. Europe fears a long, cold winter if Russia ends supply of natural gas. Global gas crunch leaves Bangladesh facing blackouts until 2026. So look, there has been some warming. We know that. But overall, fossil fuels make us much more safe from climate emergencies. We have machines for air conditioning, heating, irrigation, farming, all this stuff that feeds us and keeps us going good and protected are based on fossil fuel machines. And overall, from climate emergencies in the world have gone down 98% in the last 100 years. So we're much safer using the fossil fuels and dealing with any warming, slight warming. And the United Nations Climate Panel has looked at different scenarios of development and emissions control and all this. And in all cases, none of the scenarios show the overall well-being of the world declines because of climate change. So let's be sensible about policy. Let's stop restricting fossil fuel investments or it's going to get worse. So keep that in mind. You know, everything runs on fossil fuels. It's over 80% of the world's energy. And right now there's no technology available that can replace them on scale economically. So support the oil and gas industry. Thanks.
That's something that these Stop Oil folks don't understand, is that so much of our stuff is still run off of fossil fuels. And we can't just stop right this second, blink of an eye, turn it off, because everything goes down. Everything. And as far as the climate change, we're not 100% certain on what our Earth is doing all the time and what our Earth decides to do. It's going to do it, whether we're here emitting fumes or whatever the hell it is that we're doing. We're going to keep doing it, and the Earth is going to keep doing whatever it's going to do. And there's nothing we can do about that. As far as climate change,
as of right now, more and more information is being released about the mysterious entities that were sighted in Peru. Oddly enough, since the topic has been trending, locals have been posting photographs of the alleged creatures, with some describing them as giving off bright lights, while others have said that they have big heads with large eyes. This photograph was just posted online by a local called Alfredo. He details that he lives in Iquitos and that during the night, something was emitting a bright light in his garden. Thinking that it was someone with a flashlight, he decided to investigate. As he made his way outside, he could hear movement, and because of this, he was hesitant to approach. However, as he did, he encountered what he described was a humanoid-like figure that was emitting a bright light. It was so bright that it lit up his entire garden, and he even detailed that it hurt his eyes to look directly at it. He grabbed his phone and took several photographs, but due to how bright the light was, this entity only showed up in 2 of them. The whole encounter lasted no more than 20 seconds, and after the photographs were taken, Alfredo said that the light vanished from the being and it left the area. He switched on the light on his phone, but could no longer see the entity. After this, he quickly made his way inside. Interestingly, he said that this isn't the first time that these entities have been witnessed, and detailed that locals have allegedly been encountering them now for several months.
So people were finally starting to see these aliens that have been terrorizing, this particular part of Peru for quite a while. And yeah.
Here's a clear picture of the presumed alien or aliens that are attacking villagers in a small village out by Lima,
I believe
Peru.
this was in 2023, but I'm always late to the party. And these particular pictures are of what people thought were aliens. And it looks like some folks in jetpacks, right?
Someone recently sent me a message about this video, which purports to show that Peru was locking down its cities and not letting anyone out because of an alien attack. By now, I'm sure many of you have already heard of the alleged attacks on small villages in Peru by face-stealing aliens. So I decided to look into this and found nothing at all that would support the assertion that Peru has been closing down their cities because of an alien attack. What I did find were quite a few relatively reputable news sources suggesting that it's been determined by the Peruvian police that these aliens were in fact illegal gold miners using jetpacks, which they utilize in their gold prospecting, to harass the locals and hopefully keep them away from their illegal mining operations. Now, most of these sources that I found, like the Daily Mail and Vice, are not always the most reliable, so believe them if you wish. But, according to the USAD, illegal gold mining is a very real and very destructive practice in Peru, as is human trafficking. And according to many of these sources, these aliens seem to be targeting young women in remote villages. Additionally, according to more reputable sources, Peru has been in a bit of a political crisis. And around the time this video was released, Peru was in the middle of increasing its security presence in its capital city to help deal with protesters. So I am sorry to say I am of the opinion this is pure cap for views. Sleep well, friends, and memento mori.
It's not aliens. It's just some freaking thieves with jetpacks, getting my hopes all up, being all like thieverying and stuff. That's terrible.
So the conspiracy theory is that Disney created the movie Frozen as a distraction from the rumor that Walt Disney was cryogenically frozen. So now if you Google Disney Frozen, the movie pops up, not things about Walt Disney being cryogenically frozen.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So I'm like, that's amazing. And I honestly think it's true.
I mean, think about Frozen. Has anyone wanted to hear that story? Okay.
No one was
They're pushing
asking for
Frozen,
that.
Okay.
They've pushed Frozen harder than any other Disney movie.
Won Oscars.
And there was a dark truth behind it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're learning today.
And I didn't like Frozen. I'm going to say why.
Oh,
I didn't watch it.
I
because every musical theater was obsessed.
I know.
The theater person was obsessed with it, and I was like,
it got to be too much.
I'm more of a Tangled, except for the horror show. That little horror show ended when she
cut off her
hair and
became
it
like
turned
a
brown.
brunette with like a little tiny bang look.
That was worse than Scream.
That was like
movie.
sick.
When they cut her hair and it turned brown, I was like,
And wait, and that's the end?
That's the end. That's the happy ending. That's the worst thing I've ever seen happen to a woman.
Really? Really? That is like a huge like thing to do, like orchestrated diversion just to make you stop looking up Disney Frozen, like he's frozen instead of the movie. Oh my goodness. That's too funny. I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Come on back tomorrow. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.